What is good, everybody? Welcome to Stats and Cohn here on the Gold Standard Podcast Network. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. He is Grant Cohn. Grant, I should be in a good mood. I should be happy. I should be excited. I should be pumped up. Niners are playing this weekend after what feels like forever. And yet I saw something just before we came on the air that has got me all kinds of ticked off. Have you seen the latest from ESPN Milwaukee, what some local hosts in Green Bay are saying about the 49ers?
No, tell me.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad you haven't seen it. I will play it for everybody. Then I'll react. You can react, and I'm sure the chat is going to have plenty to react to. Before I get to that, however, I just want to give a little love to our YouTube channel partners, Community Tree Service, LLC. We are so pleased and privileged to have them on board. If you have a yard, they will do everything they can to get this yard looking as good as it could possibly look. And as somebody that now has a yard, I got to tell you, it means way more to me than I ever thought it would. Like, I am grass dad guy. Well, Community Tree Service can hook you up. They do tree trimming, land clearing, hazard tree removal, home fire hardening, debris removal from the Central Coast up to the Bay Area, and estimates are free. So give them a call, 831-763-2391. Email estimating at cts831.com or visit their website at communitytree.com to schedule your appointment. Tell them you heard about them from us. You get $200 off of your quote. If you root for somebody else, they're going to charge you more. So just keep that under your hat. Community Tree Service is licensed by the California State License Board, license number 1100816. All right, Grant. ESPN Milwaukee. This is where this video comes from. I just saw it before we hit record, and I got to tell you, I wasn't too pleased. So I'm going to try to throw it up here, and hopefully this will work. Here is what they said the Packers need to do on ESPN Milwaukee. Let me know if you can hear this.
But, Gabe, I go back, and it's little things like this. And the reason we won in 95 when no one gave us a chance in San Francisco is because we intimidated them. I mean, and I always revert to Wayne Simmons. Wayne Simmons kicked the crap out of Brent Jones. And then it got contagious, and then it carried over. That's why you guys are going to think I'm crazy.
Well, we already thought that, so go ahead.
A 15-yard penalty, and I don't condone this, but I kind of do in the playoffs.
Just stop. Don't go there.
On Brock Purdy is not a bad thing as long as it's worth it. I'm just saying, this is the mindset when it's battle, and it's kind of like the reverse of hockey. What don't they do in hockey in the playoffs, Joshy?
Shave their beards?
That and one other thing.
They don't fight.
They don't fight. They don't fight, right? This is kind of like sometimes a 15-yard penalty is worth it early in the game if you knock the living crap out of the guy. And then he kind of like sticking your helmet in the ribs of Nick Bosa is like, but I'm hearing ghosts.
Someone stop this guy. He really thought that was smart. People say the stupidest things. I'm sorry.
So just to be clear, the late hit on Brock Purdy is worth it as long as you hurt him enough. Is exactly what he just said.
That is such a Cobra Kai mentality. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're not quite good enough to pull this one off. All right. He's a little bit better than us. Go cheat. That was terrible. Yeah. Someone should have cut him off. No, this is it's a terrible.
They tried to save him from himself. And I'll just say this. It made me think of that line from, I think it was The Dark Knight, where the guy goes into Morgan Freeman's office and he says, Bruce Wayne is Batman. I know it. I want $1 million every year for the rest of my life. And Morgan Freeman looks at him and he's like, so you think that your boss, one of the wealthiest, most powerful men in the world, is secretly a vigilante who spends his nights beating criminals to a pulp with his bare hands, and your plan is to blackmail this person? You think the way to beat the 49ers is to get physical with them? Really? Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's football. You're allowed to get physical. You're supposed to. What he said at the beginning about how the Packers intimidated the Niners in the 90s, I was there. I remember that. That was definitely a big part of it. Gilbert Brown, those teams were ferocious in Green Bay. That's not this team. That has nothing to do with it. And that was a whole different era of football. So, I don't know. I think that was pretty much useless football commentary. Sorry to whoever said that. But The Packers can win this game, but they're not going to do it by illegally roughing up Brock Purdy in the first quarter. That's not the game plan. And if that leaked out that a coach said that, he'd be suspended for a freaking year. It's just such a silly thing to say. Worse than silly.
I think it's hilarious. Like, yes, please try to out physical the 49ers. Like, how many teams have we seen do that? Maybe one in the Ravens this year.
Well, you got to try. You can't just concede that, but that doesn't mean like committing 15-yard penalties. With the exception of Dre Greenlaw, that is not how the Niners are physical. It's just not.
Dre hasn't done anything crazy in a long time.
Hey, shout out Dre Greenlaw. I really like Dre Greenlaw. That was a good-natured ribbing right there. He knows.
Yeah, you should say that unless because you'll get one of those hits one of these days. No, you're not going to do it. And like, if you try, it's going to come. Like, please feel free. Debo and Trent Williams and Bosa and Warner and Dre Greenlaw, you and Kittle, you want to out physical those guys? Go ahead and try.
This to me, like, I'm not a fan. And to me, I think it's hard to be a fan and an analyst at the same time. Because here's where this guy's just being a fan. He's advocating for an illegal hit on Brock Purdy. What if the Niners did that to Jordan Love? What would this guy say?
That's a good point. And like,
what would he say?
He'd
be up in arms. He'd be up in freaking arms. How can the NFL? Oh, those guys are. It's like, okay, well, you're just a fan of the Packers. So you don't actually have like a moral leg to stand on here. This isn't an actual suggestion. You just want the Packers to win by any means necessary. Like, why are you even? Okay, like a lot of fans want that. Are they given a platform to say it? At ESPN Milwaukee hit Brock Purdy late, dude.
They tweeted it out. Dude, that's how I found it.
He should apologize for that. Because again, I'm telling you, if the Niners did that to Jordan Love, this will be the first guy complaining about it.
And also the whole, I don't condone it, but I kind of do in the playoffs. That's like when you go to your girl and you're like, hey, what if, the three of us, I'm just kidding. Unless you're serious. Like, that's what that is.
It just feels like really small market show that doesn't expect many people to listen to them. And then they say something outrageous and it gets picked up. People are like, excuse me? What? Who are you? And why'd you say that? What? This is going to be a great game on Saturday. This is exactly what they don't need. Don't knock out Jordan Love or Brock Purdy illegally in the first quarter. Can we get a good game, please? I'd like that.
I wouldn't. I want a 50-point 49ers blowout. Forget good game. And I think they're going to get it. I think the 49ers are going to go nuts on the Green Bay Packers because I think we're going to see playoff Christian McCaffrey. I think people forget, like, this dude is... I mean, Kyle talks about all the time how he is like a psycho, how he is all about football. And I remember in that Eagles game in the NFC Championship last year, Grant, when nothing was going right for the 49ers and Brock was out and we're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And all of a sudden, Christian McCaffrey breaks like 6 tackles and runs for a touchdown. And you're like, oh my God, we got a chance in this thing. And now there's no worry about like overusing him, right? It's not like, oh my God, we got to save Christian McCaffrey. Like, forget that, man. We got 3 more games the rest of the season. Give it to Christian McCaffrey 80 times if necessary.
Yeah, Niners have a great offense. I think they should be able to score 30 points on Green Bay. They should be able to do that. The issue is Green Bay's offense. It's really good too. Maybe they don't have the names that the Niners. They don't have the names the Niners have, but lately, their quarterback has been playing like just as efficiently as Brock Purdy, and his running back is fresh and explosive. Aaron Jones is really good. Not as good as Christian McCaffrey, but I mean, you could be looking at the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFC left and the 2 best running backs in the NFC who are left. I think this is going to be a really interesting matchup of offenses. The Niners defense is really good, but they got eviscerated a few times this year. Once by Baltimore and once by Cincinnati. And both of those teams had elite quarterbacks with, weapons and a running game. That's kind of what Green Bay has right now. You might not look at Jordan Love as an elite quarterback, and I guess he'll have to prove it, but his first playoff game was a step in the right direction, and over the last 10 games, he's thrown 23 touchdowns and 3 picks. He's playing like an elite quarterback. We'll see if he can keep it going, but he can move. He can get out of the pocket. He can make any throw. They're balanced. This could be a high-scoring game. Could be exciting.
Could be. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think Aaron Jones is going to be able to run the way.
Yeah, you think the Niners are going to win by 50. You made that clear.
Yeah, I don't think Aaron Jones is going to be able to run the way he ran against the Cowboys, frankly, especially if Eric Armstead is back to full health, which it appears that he's going to be pretty damn close.
Wait, you think he's going to be back to full health because he's playing? I don't know about that. He might be on the field.
If he,
I don't know if he's going to be full health.
well, I don't know, maybe not 100%, but pretty damn close. I mean, if he could have played against the Rams, now he's going to get even more time after that off.
I mean, he had this injury last year. It's a pain tolerance thing. He missed a lot of time, came back, didn't do much, and then turned it on in the playoffs. Maybe he could just turn it on in the playoffs no matter what.
Well, you
Maybe
know,
he's just pacing himself.
they'll give him the Mariah's Got to Sing Tonight medicine. He'll get out there and, gut through it for 3.5 hours. And
But he's a big X factor. How good is Eric Armstead? Because stopping the run and making the Packers one-dimensional is always how the Niners beat them in the playoffs. Always.
The 49ers haven't given up a 100-yard rusher in, what is it, like 60 games now? Something like that. So I think that Green Bay is going to be one-dimensional. Plus, I don't think that the Packers defense is going to be able to stop the 49ers at all in any way. I don't think they're going to be able to stop the run. I don't think they're going to be able to stop the pass. Unless Brock turns it over, that's the only way I think Green Bay stops the 49ers. I really think we could be looking at a situation like the Eagles game when it's touchdown, 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 touchdown.
Okay. Seems like you're trying to convince yourself right now, man.
No, I'm convinced. Look, I have two settings when it comes to playoff game. One is horribly anxious, and the other one is wildly confident. And I am
But
firmly.
it doesn't seem wildly confident when you keep saying, like, repeating yourself that the Niners are going to win by 50. It seems like you're not that confident, that you notice that that's just the exact same stuff the Cowboys said last week before they got completely embarrassed by the Packers. And I think everyone realizes this Packers team is a wild card. Like, they're a year away, the youngest team in the league. But, man, they're as hot as any team right now. They have as good of a quarterback as any team right now. And maybe they'll all come crumbling down. They'll realize that they're super young and it's not their time and they've already proven themselves. But this isn't the team you want to face. This is the last team you want to face in the NFC.
Right.
This team beat
That's-
Detroit.
wait, but that
This
was the
team beat
Rams.
Detroit.
Wasn't that the Rams?
This team beat Detroit, which is the team that beat the Rams. I mean, we're seeing it play out. We didn't know that, but everyone wrote off the Packers when they were 2-5, and everyone just sort of looked at them recently when they made the playoffs. And now it's like trying to look back on their season and figure out how they got here. They don't turn the ball over. The Niners do. So that's an X factor right there. Yes, they do. When they lose, they turn the ball over 4 times. I'm not picking the
Who
Niners.
doesn't turn the
to
ball
lose.
over when they lose?
Well, this team doesn't turn the ball over. So it's going to be interesting.
Don't ever compare the 49ers with the Cowboys. How dare you? They're not in the same league as the 49ers.
Well, and they're not in the same league as the Packers either. The Packers did to the Cowboys what the Niners did to the Cowboys. Now, the difference is in garbage time, the Packers gave up some points that the Niners didn't give up. But really, it was a 35-point lead at some point. That was a complete evisceration.
No doubt. They clearly outclassed Dallas.
And their defense played well for most of that game. While the game mattered, the Packers defense played really well in that game. Jair Alexander's a great player.
They got interceptions, which is the Packers only had 7 interceptions as a team in the regular season, and they had 2 in that game.
Well, Brock has 10 picks in the last 10 games, so he better be careful. Don't throw it Jair. He's great.
Throw it whoever you want, Brock. Don't worry about it. Matt McCune says Niners need to stop the run and not let them live off play action on offense. I mean, yeah, that's the system. I mean, it's the Shanahan system, so they're going to run a lot of play action.
But that's what the Packers want to do too.
Yes, they need to run and target the Green Bay linebackers who are garbage in coverage. We know Kyle's going to do that. I mean, he lives off targeting bad linebackers. That's what they did against the Eagles. That's how they destroyed them. That's how they destroyed the Cowboys. So I think Kyle's going to try and do the same thing against Green Bay.
Did Sean McVay not try to do that last week? Did he not? He didn't know about that? The linebacker thing that he learned from Mike Shanahan too? Like, yeah, the Niners are better than the Rams. I'm just saying they're not going to win by 50. I guarantee you they're not going to win by 50 points.
I was exaggerating a little. 50 is a little much, but I think the Niners could easily put up 40.
Sure. I think this game could easily be a 35-32 game, one way or another.
James Welsh says, among most fans, it's considered low and pathetic to celebrate or advocate for deliberately hurting a player. If they win, it's because Love plays better than Purdy. That's the way they really hurt Brock Purdy. Did you notice Kyle Shanahan yesterday? I thought this was interesting. He went out of his way to try and convince people that Brock is not going to be rusty. Did you hear this comment from Kyle? I'll play it, and then you can react to it.
Mind really much at all because he hasn't been on a bye week. We pushed the heck out of Brock. Meetings, practice. I mean, we knew Sam was playing that whole game, and Brock was still splitting reps with him. So Brock got a good weekend. We just didn't want to put him out there in the first half of that game. So he did miss the first half versus the Rams, but he got that whole weekend. When he came back, he's been here. He's worked on his days off. We got 2 bigger practices last week than we do in a normal week. So, and Brock went out with the guys on Monday, did a bunch of stuff with them, and now we're going to get 2 practices in again. So in terms of time off, yeah, he did have 2 quarters off to what we could have done with him, but we definitely think that was worth it, and I don't worry about that affecting Brock at all for Saturday.
I love this. Kyle is so smart. This is the 4D chess that Kyle Shanahan plays. What is he doing? He's anticipating a future in which the 49ers somehow lose. Because it happens. I mean, any given Sunday, let's say they lose to the Packers and Brock doesn't play well. Well, one could say, hey, Kyle, how come Brock wasn't prepared? Was he rusty? And so Kyle's getting out in front of that. Oh, whoa. He had some strenuous practices. He missed a couple of quarters that he would have played, but I prepared Brock for this game. Brock's prepared. So if something happens, talk to Brock. That's it. That's all that is. And I love Kyle Shanahan for thinking that way.
I just think it was really funny that Kyle, before the Rams game, said 3 weeks off is not good for anybody. And then with Brock, he's like, well, he really only took 2. He would have only had 2 quarters anyway. Like,
And Brock wanted to play, right? Brock was like, look, I don't want to get rusty. I'm in a good rhythm right now. And Kyle had to convince him. But now he's convincing us that actually he got a lot of work and he's not rusty. Like, all right, man. Well, we'll see what happens in the game.
It's going to be 3 weeks, basically, between meaningful football for Brock Purdy. Like, that's just a thing. Yeah, he practiced, and that's cool. Right. But that's not the same. It's just not. And so
not the same as, and then you compare it to Jordan Love. What has he been doing the last 2 weeks?
Right. He's obviously been grinding and going through it. I think it is.
He's hot.
It's something to keep an eye on. It doesn't mean necessarily that Brock will be rusty, but it wouldn't shock me if it took him at least a series to get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, again, the Niners have had all this time, and the Packers are on a short week, and they just played on the road, and they got to go home, and they come back on the road. That's why, to me, if the Niners lose this game, you can't be like, oh, well, the Packers were really good. They are. But if the Niners lose this game, it's just catastrophic. And you got to look at them and say, why? How did you let this happen? You were objectively better than Green Bay. And the problem is if the Niners lose this game, Green Bay is only going to be better next year. They're the youngest team in the league. They can, most likely things happen, injuries. Most likely they're on the upward trajectory. And the Niners are plateauing. I don't know. You could argue they're approaching the downward trajectory. So this is a great year to beat the Packers.
Well, there's no excuse. I don't care. Like, you have to beat the Packers. You're better than them. This is, potentially 4 out of 5 years in the NFC Championship game if you win. There's no excuse unless like you have a Brock Purdy goes out and Christian McCaffrey, like barring extreme circumstances, no excuse not to win. Brad Brown says we'll win this game if our linebackers play well. Joey Mellons says I can smell what Brock is cooking. Keith Murphy, the unbeaten. Lamar did not eviscerate us. The score was 16-12 at halftime after 3 picks. The defense held him multiple times on short fields. Burrow and Cousins destroyed us.
Nah, man. He destroyed you. I'm sorry. You just got to live with that. It happened. He put up 30-something. I'm sorry. What were his numbers? How many times did you pick him off?
Well, yeah, certainly didn't pick him off 4 times. The one thing I will say I think that works in the 49ers' favor. What is going on with my mic stand? It's falling off here. Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
We got problems. Things I didn't anticipate. The Packers defense was on the field for 89 plays against the Cowboys. Now, some of those, the number ones went in because they put the starters back in like late in the game. So like
Matt LaFleur botched that end of game.
That's really a hell of a lot of plays.
I don't have a lot of confidence in Matt LaFleur or Kyle Shanahan as like guys who react in the moment at late in games. They're both excellent play designers, play callers, game planners, script putter togethers. But nah, I don't really trust them. I mean, they're very similar. I do think it's interesting as coaches LaFleur's done a really great job developing Jordan Love. People wrote him off. They felt like that was a fruitless project. Everyone thought, man, he's been on the bench for 3 years. He must suck. And that's not what happened. They were just patient with him, and they gave him a chance to like play and learn with a young team, and he knocked it out. Now, the Niners never really had that opportunity for Trey Lance. They never like went young and rebuilt for him. But maybe I'm just killing time while you fix that. I don't know
No,
why
I'm
talking-
listening.
No, yeah, I don't know why I'm talking about Trey Lance. I just think it's interesting. Like LaFleur did a great job. All of a sudden, his stock is way up. He always seemed, I don't want to use a bad word here, compromised, leveraged by his dominated by his quarterback. You think about the head coach quarterback relationship like a marriage. He always seemed like he wasn't wearing the pants in that relationship with Aaron Rodgers, and it was kind of embarrassing when he just looked so inept all the time on his own team. Now he's running that team, and he's doing a great job. And I think people like Niner fans don't realize it, but this is kind of like the inverse of 2021. That year, the Packers were the team in the NFC the whole way through. The Niners started 2-4 and then came on strong, didn't have rest, beat the Packers in Lambeau when they had a couple weeks to rest and prepare. It's the exact inverse this year. Now you got a team that started 2-5 that's clawed all the way back and is as hot as any team in the league right now. And the Niners have to take them seriously and take care of business. They should. But a lot of people thought the Packers would handle business 2 years ago, and they didn't. They lost a really fluky, weird game 13-10 because they got a punt blocked in the snow. What if this game is raining? It could be a weird freaking game,
Well, they also couldn't score. The Packers could not score. That's why they lost. I mean, the Niners won without scoring an offensive touchdown.
I'm not saying this game's going to be 13-10, but it was a weird game in the snow. This could be a weird game in the rain. Who knows?
Yeah, the forecast is changing. First, we thought we were going to get a lot of rain. Now, apparently, it's less rain.
Okay.
So look, it probably changes 4 more times before Saturday.
We don't really know yet, but we'll see.
Right.
Yeah.
Matt McCune says Kyle Shanahan coaching tree overthinks everything. By the way, Matt's a YouTube channel member. If you want to become a YouTube channel member for my channel, it's less than $3 a month. You get custom emojis, you get membership badges, you get priority comment response. So please consider that if you are so inclined and you want to support the channel. It is a great way to do it. I'm surprised at how many Packer fans I am seeing that are confident. Like they think the Packers are elite and they think the Niners are going to get smashed.
I think this would be a great time to look at the betting lines for the weekend. Because, I'm hearing the same thing from Packer fans, too, about how good the Packers are. I'm kind of convinced. I mean, looking into what they've done the last 10 games, it is very impressive. But odds makers are not convinced. The Niners are 9.5-point favorites. That's outrageous considering what Green Bay just did. But at the same time, maybe it's accurate. Like, you seem to think the Niners are going to win by double digits. You would not pick the Packers and the points, correct?
100%. I'll take the Niners and give the points. Definitely.
Okay.
I'm surprised that you are so I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I mean, Jordan Love is playing well. Do we not? We've seen the Niners beat good quarterbacks that are playing well. Are we so terrified of Jordan Love just because he played well against the Cowboys that all of a sudden the Niners should be shaking in their boots?
I mean, they have a quarterback who's playing at an elite level right now over the last 10 games. Quarterback rating is 111. Over the last 10 games, Purdy is 113. Those are the 2 best quarterbacks in the league statistically over the last 10 games. So that's a good place to be. Their passing game is clicking. He's doing this without turning the ball over. Purdy's not doing that. Purdy has turned the ball over here and there. Love hasn't. He's on a great streak. Maybe that'll all end now. They have a running back who's really good too. Like really, really good. They have at least 3 receivers who are dangerous, at least 2 tight ends. They're not as good as the Niners, but they're good. They're super good on offense. On defense, I don't know. We'll see. But I've seen I can't get the Cincinnati game out of my head. Cincinnati made it look so easy. And Joe Burrow is better than Jordan Love. But right now, Jordan Love's playing he's making it look super easy.
Well,
Nick Bosa said no one's made him look uncomfortable. No one's even made him look uncomfortable. We have to try to make him look uncomfortable. I think that's what people say about Purdy too. Like he makes it look really easy. Both of them.
you just did the thing that everybody does when it comes to this game, and it drives me crazy. Everyone's like, oh, Jordan Love's playing really good right now. But anytime you want to throw shade at the 49ers, you got to go back even before Jordan Love started to look really good. Like, does the beginning of the season count or not? If it doesn't count, then don't tell me about the Cincinnati game. Don't tell me about the 3-game losing streak. Don't tell me about any of that, because we're not counting the beginning of the season. So I just want people to decide whether it counts or not.
Of course it counts. I don't know what you're talking about. This feels like you're continuing a discussion with someone else from another time, but of course it counts. With Jordan Love, this is first year starting. And what's interesting is that as he went on, he improved. And there's like a clear delineation of where it happened. I think the same thing happened with Russell Wilson. His first year started. His first 8 starts, he was okay. He was managing the game, and they were working around him. And all of a sudden, he took off, and it carried over into the playoffs. And I just think it's interesting to compare the last 10 games to Brock, since Love has had such a clear leap halfway through the season. What has Brock done over the same period? He's been even better. Brock's been great. His quarterback rating is even better. But he does have this thing now where he wants to be seen as a gunslinger, and he wants to prove himself sometimes. And just a few weeks ago, he threw 4 picks on Christmas. Love doesn't do that. Love isn't out there responding to critics, talking to Schlereth, making statements to Cam Newton, trying to prove that he's Aaron Rodgers. He's just managing the game. And you know what? I believe Brock Purdy can and will in this game too. My question for you is the winning quarterback in this game going to be the guy who makes more plays or who throws fewer picks?
Who throws fewer picks?
Bingo. And that's why Brock Purdy needs to be on his A game, because Love probably won't do that. Purdy has that capability too. He's an excellent game manager, what he wants to be. And if he wants to be that in this game, the Niners should win by a comfortable margin. If he tries to prove that he's a gunslinger, Green Bay will pick him off.
Green Bay won't pick him off. Green Bay has 7 interceptions on the year. And I think you're mischaracterizing the Brock Purdy thing to Mark Schlereth. That was said in a production meeting. It wasn't like a thing that Brock Purdy said at the podium. He just said, if you think I'm a game manager, you're not watching the film. That's not like
Jordan Love say things like that to people in production meetings? Is that something that's
I don't know, because usually what gets said in the production meetings doesn't get revealed publicly. So maybe he is.
Maybe he is.
No,
it's possible. I haven't heard it. Yeah, we haven't heard it. You're right.
And as you pointed out, Jordan Love's playing really well. Brock Purdy's been playing just as well, and Brock Purdy's facing the much worse defense in this game. Much worse.
But I mean, like, Purdy's numbers are way better than Love's because Purdy has got like the best yak guys in the league. So whether he throws it to him behind the line of scrimmage or 15 yards down the field, he's getting another 10 yards at least. Love doesn't have that supporting cast at all. You can't name his number 3 receiver, his number 2 receiver, but he's still quite accurate. And again, the thing with Love that Shanahan immediately pointed to when asked about him was he's not turning the ball over. It's really impressive. He's not turning the ball over. And I know Kyle loves Brock Purdy, but he doesn't want Brock Purdy to turn the ball over. He doesn't want Brock Purdy to be a gunslinger. He wants Brock Purdy to not lose the game, to distribute the ball to the playmakers. That's his job. He could do it.
For the record, Jordan Love has 105 passes behind the line of scrimmage this year. That's the 4th most in the NFL, tied for the 4th most. Brock Purdy has 62. So, I know Brock Purdy's the checkdown merchant, though, right? But yeah, no, actually, it's not true. Jordan Love is the guy throwing behind the line of scrimmage more than Brock Purdy.
They're both really good, man. I don't know where you're trying to throw shade at either one. They're both really, really good.
I'm not
Their styles are a little different, but they're in the same system. I think Love's more conservative. Clearly. He understands his number 1 job is don't turn the ball over. I don't know that Brock Purdy understands that, but both of them win most of their games. Both of them are really good. Brock's probably going to win this game, but you're going against a guy who's bigger than Brock, faster than Brock, stronger arm than Brock, protects the ball better than Brock over the last 10 games. It's a game. That's a game. I'm excited. Maybe the Niners win by 21, and if they do, I think that'll be significant. You will have to go on and be like, I thought they were going to win by 50, so I'm kind of disappointed. But if the Niners win by 20, I'm going to go on and give them a lot of praise. You can't. Not allowed to. You thought they win by 50. You said it.
Kenny says, taking my family to Puerto Rico weekend for their birthdays. I need a W. I want BA and GK to have breakout games. #cheese grater. I'm trying to think of like who is, because the Niners have like a Christian McCaffrey game and then a George Kittle game and then a Debo game. I think it's going to be a McCaffrey game. I think McCaffrey is going to get 20 carries. I think he's going to get 5 or 6 catches. The Packers have not been good against running backs used as receivers and out of the backfield. I'm sure Kyle is going to exploit that. I think we'll see a lot of empty formations in this game when the Niners do pass. I think that's the way it's going to go. And then obviously they'll hit play actions and stuff like that.
Okay. We'll see. Yeah. It's always a Christian McCaffrey game. He's great. You can't really stop him, especially when Trent Williams is on the field. In terms of the passing game, it seems to me that you'd put Jair Alexander on Ayuk if you're smart.
I would, yeah.
If you're smart, and then it comes down to Kittle and Debo. So we'll see. Debo can take over games. He can also completely disappear. He's had 2 weeks to rest. We'll see what he's looking like, man. Debo could take over this game and win it for the 49ers. See that. I can see that. I don't know that Kittle would. Maybe he would. But I feel like Debo's the guy who kind of needs to step up if Jair Alexander's shadowing Ayuk. Debo, you got to step up now, man.
And Ayuk needs to step up too. Like, hey, when you're the number one, you face the number one from the other team. So you've got to be able to produce in that instance. You can't just say, oh, well, they had their number one guy against me, so I didn't produce. You got to be able to step it up. And I'm not saying he can't, but I'm just saying it's no excuse to just say, oh, well, Jair Alexander is there. Oh, well.
No, that's not what I meant. Like, he's going to step up, but that's a tough matchup. Debo should have a very advantageous matchup. So I don't want to see one of these forgettable Debo games. Like, you need to dominate because there's no excuse. You're not facing Jair Alexander. Ayuk is. So if Ayuk is a win some, lose some type of game, I'll understand. Not you, Debo. That's what I'm saying.
Mad Gamer 4127. Green Bay has lost every game that Jordan Love throws at least one pick. Like Brock, that will be the way to stop Green Bay. I just think that if the Packers are going to win, Jordan Love's going to have to make a bunch of Superman throws because I think that's the only way they get down the field against the 49ers. And if you can do that again and again and again, enough to compete with the offense, which again I think is going to be very successful, then I will tip my hat to you because you will have damn well earned it. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Maybe next year. Who knows? Maybe
not.
That
again. I'm trying to follow your logic on that. To beat the Niners, he has to make a bunch of Superman. That's the only way to beat the Niners is to make a bunch
he's going to have to make a bunch of those like drop back, pass rushes coming, drop back off your back foot, throw the ball in the perfect spot. He's going to have to make that throw again and again and again. Those are not easy throws to make. And if you can do that.
Is that how the Bengals beat the Niners? Is that how Joe Burrow did it?
Honestly, I'd have to watch the game again.
Nah, Joe Burrow was clinical, man. It was quick throws.
It's
the same system.
Let's not act like the 49ers defense hasn't gotten better since then. They've gotten way better since then. Like, if you're going to say, hey, something clicked for Jordan Love and now he's playing great, okay, fine. But say the same thing about the 49ers defense then.
It wasn't good on Christmas, though. But they've had
okay, but that was one game. But
okay. I'm just saying, like, when they faced elite quarterbacks this year, it hasn't gone well.
When you give the other team the 4 extra possessions, you're going to put your defense in a box.
When they faced Joe Burrow, when they faced Kirk Cousins, when they faced Lamar Jackson, didn't go well. They did a good job against Stafford early in the year, but he didn't have Kupp. They did a good job against Dak and Hurts, but those guys are not elite quarterbacks. Is Jordan Love elite? I don't know. Maybe not.
252. That's what Lamar did. Lamar threw for 252. Was that dicing the 49ers up? Certainly not.
So what was his quarterback rating?
I don't know. You're asking me about the numbers that he put up.
You had his gross stats. Okay. All right. So there are games when Brock. What's his quarterback rating?
105.9.
Okay. All right. 105.9. They scored a bunch of points. He was the catalyst of their entire offense. No, Gus Edwards won that game. Gus Edwards was the reason they scored 30-something points against the Niners.
No, Brock Purdy was the reason they scored 30-something points because he kept giving him the damn football.
Yeah, Brock Purdy is the reason the Niners couldn't keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket. That was good. It's all Brock's fault.
Yards did Lamar run?
Brock played terrible defense.
He ran for Lamar ran for 45 yards in the game.
Okay, so he's about at 300 yards and no turnovers. And how many touchdowns?
2.
It's a hell of a game.
I'm not saying he played a bad game, but I'm not.
A hell of a game.
Let's not act like
the Niners defense really didn't do much to stop him.
Again, they were on a lot of short fields, is my point.
Okay.
Matt
Well,
McCune says, love the Steve Young video. I did see that video, the hype video they put out yesterday. It was awesome. Made me want to run through the freaking wall. I know you don't care about that stuff, Grant, because you're not
I
a
like
fan.
Steve Young. What happened? What did he do?
It was just it was a good hype video that they put out.
Oh,
Josh Dowling says, remember,
is that why you're all worked up this morning because of that hype video?
Oh, I was worked up yesterday when I saw it. I was like, start the game right now. Let's go. I'm ready. Josh says, remember the Seattle game when the corner twisted Debo's leg? Yeah, that was in the playoffs last year, I believe. That lit a huge fire. So sure, try to do some dumb stuff. Green Bay. Yeah, that's going back to what we played from that Milwaukee host saying that they should try and cheap shot the Niners. We did see that did happen in Seattle where they tried to twist Debo's ankle and then the Niners just saw red the rest of the game.
One of the things I like about football is that theoretically you don't need to do stuff like that. If you're mad at a player, I didn't play the game. If you're mad at a player, if you got a problem, like they blow the whistle and you're allowed to hit him as hard as you want. You can run into him. Like there's a certain level of justice that just gets taken care of on the field. And that's why when the game is over, everyone lingers on the field and hugs each other and embraces and tells each other how proud they are of each other. Like that's what I like about football. Taking it past that and trying to injure people after the play you had your chance to hurt him legally.
Right.
That's the whole point. Don't do that.
100%.
And if you didn't do it on this play, you could do it on the next 60, man. Come on.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of legal stuff that you can do where you don't need to get the 15-yard penalty.
Yeah.
So
that's the point of the sport. Not like cheap shots, like actual legal hits. Make them tap out legally.
And what's the expression? If you're going to shoot at the king, you best not miss. That's the other thing. You try that cheap stuff with the Niners, it better work, and you better get those guys out of the game, because if not, it's coming back for you tenfold.
Yeah, and it's like when the Eagles knocked out Brock Purdy last year, it wasn't on a cheap shot.
Right.
It was a legit play.
Yep.
I would hate to see Baker Mayfield get knocked out of the game against the Lions on a cheap shot. I want to watch that game. I want to watch that game, and I want it to be enjoyable, and I don't want to watch whoever the backup quarterback is, Kyle Trask. Don't, for the sake of Americans, football viewers across the globe, don't do that, because everyone will just hate the Packers forever because you robbed us of a Sunday.
Do you really quickly want to take a look at the spreads from the other non-49ers playoff games?
I would love to. Let's do that.
There are like the rest of the matchups are juicy. Starting off with Houston and Baltimore. Baltimore's favored by 9.5 points in the game. This is interesting because you've got Lamar, who has struggled in the playoffs, and CJ Stroud, who's looking friggin' amazing.
That's another. See, this makes me understand the Niners spread more. Like, okay, it's a 1 against a 7 or a 1 against a wild card. Fine. Because I could see Houston winning that game. Can you not?
But the difference is I've seen Brock in the playoffs play really well and put up a lot of points. I haven't seen Lamar do that. He's never scored more than 20 in a playoff game, which they asked him about this week.
Okay.
And
Okay. But Lamar's a better quarterback than Brock Purdy. So we're not going to do that. Lamar is a much better quarterback than Brock Purdy at this time. And I still could see Houston winning this game because CJ Stroud is freaking amazing too. He's better than Jordan Love. My voice just went up 8 octaves on that one. Sorry about that.
Not in the playoffs. Lamar's not better than Brock Purdy. No, sir.
He hasn't played a playoff game in like 3 or 4 years. Chill. Let's see if that continues this year. He was like 21, 22, 23 playing those games.
So was Brock.
He had Greg Roman as his offensive coordinator, all right?
He
Brock
wanted to compete with that offensive coordinator.
All right, man. If you want to convince yourself that Brock's a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson, go ahead. In the playoffs, whatever. Fine. Okay, we'll see about that. But still, the point I'm trying to make is that we have another 9.5 point spread, and I would actually take Houston to cover that. I think Houston's really good.
Ooh, that's a lot of points. Houston's on the road also. I do
it's
like
a lot of points.
It's a lot of points. I think I'll take the Ravens in the game. I think the Ravens defense will be
really?
able.
With that quarterback who's so bad in the playoffs, you're taking them to cover a 9.5? That's incredible. Because of Gus Edwards, though, right? Because of that. No, Justice Hill. Justice Hill is good.
No, but if the Ravens defense can hold CJ Stroud to like 10 points, then the Ravens put up points on their own and maybe get some turnovers like they did last time.
Stroud's too good for that. Stroud's too good. Stroud might be the best quarterback on the field in this game. Stroud is incredible.
He's been playing great. We talked about Niners Packers already. Let's go Bucks Lions. The Lions are favored by 6.5 points. This could be feisty. The
This
Bucks
could be feisty too.
The Bucks looked pretty good. I know it was against the Eagles, but Tampa looked good.
They do, right? I mean, Todd Bowles is a good defensive coordinator. And if he can get pressure on Jared Goff, they're in business. Is Jared Goff better than Baker Mayfield? Not necessarily. Is the Lions defense good? Not necessarily. Funny things could happen in this game. I would not feel comfortable betting on the Lions to cover a 6.5 point spread. I would not. I would take Tampa in the points.
I agree. That's
Yeah.
a lot of points. I think the Lions will probably win, but I wouldn't be completely stunned if Tampa Bay somehow pulled it off.
These are 3 good games so far. I'm excited.
How about every quarterback in the playoffs that's left is a first-round pick, except
Purdy? I thought about that last night. Let's go to the last game because this might be the best game of them all.
Oh, yeah. Kansas City, Buffalo. It's in Buffalo. First road playoff game of Patrick Mahomes' career. Bills favored by 2.5.
Interesting. It's gonna be real cold. That Chiefs team can't catch a cold even in the warm. Sorry. I still feel like I wouldn't bet against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. I think that's just a rule. If there's actual money on the line, I'm not putting it against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
It's hard.
Even though the Bills are really good.
It's hard to pick anybody over Patrick Mahomes, but Josh Allen in the playoffs is a freaking monster, man. That 52-yard touchdown run he had, by the way, did you see that's the second longest playoff touchdown run by a quarterback, second only to
Steve Young,
Colin Kaepernick against the Green.
Oh, sorry.
I just can't wait to watch this game. Like, this is like Brady Manning. Like, this is one of those quarterback matchups that even if you don't have any rooting interest in the game whatsoever, you stop what you're doing and watch it.
I think all 4 of these games are just phenomenal. Even though you're trying to tell me that the Niners are going to win by 50. I don't want to hear that. I want a good game. Please. Nothing but blowouts from this team all year. It's annoying me.
It's true. When they
win, talk about drama.
When they win by multiple scores. They have more double-digit victories than anybody in the league this year. I think they have 11. They do. We'll see it'll be interesting. If Jordan Love beats the Niners in his first playoff game and Aaron Rodgers never did, I just feel like Rodgers deserves that somehow. Don't you think it had to be a little satisfying for Matt LaFleur to win that playoff game, to destroy the Cowboys with his guy and his system? Because they weren't running the LaFleur system when Rodgers was there. They were running the Rodgers system. So it had to be a little bit satisfying for LaFleur to be like, hey, Aaron, guess what? We just cooked them. I don't need you.
Yeah. And like Matt LaFleur and Robert Saleh are very, very close friends. And, I'm sure at the time, Saleh thought LaFleur was doing him a favor. But now I'm sure LaFleur's thinking privately like, hey, enjoy. Good luck, dude. He's your problem now.
Right. Like, would they reverse the trade right now? Hell no, right? That tells you kind of what you need to know.
No.
James Welsh, thank you very much for the donation, says, what triggers some fans, Rob, about the Brock Purdy love debate is that their arch is quite similar. Both are playing well, but you can't definitively verify who they are. I tend to think the quarterback doing more with less is doing better.
Sure, but I mean, both guys have a great scheme. I mean, we watched Jordan Love against the Cowboys. Like, was it Love or was it LaFleur? Those guys were wide open. And Love wasn't, like, some of them were having to, like, lay out for the ball or stretch for it. It's hard to say. Both guys are put in really good positions. Neither one, I mean, Love threw 21 passes. I just think it's interesting how the Niners look at Love. They're like, yeah, he's a good system quarterback, but he's not really a playmaker. I'm sure that's how the Packers look at Brock Purdy. It seems like it's like that Dr. Seuss story, the Starbelly Sneetches. It's the two people on the different sides of the beach, and they're convinced that they're so different. When it's like, nah, you guys have the same exact quarterback. What are you talking about? It's the same quarterback. One's a little taller, one's a little bit more of this, more of that, but like the end product is so similar, especially over the last 2.5 months.
It's not a throwing competition. Like, yeah, Love has more arm talent. He can make more throws than Brock Purdy can, but it's not a throwing competition. It doesn't have to be. Brock Purdy may never have to make a throw where both feet are off the ground and a guy's 40 yards down the field. Like, so that's why I think that Love is getting like so much more hype than Brock Purdy, even though Brock has the better numbers this year. He
Who's
does.
hyping Jordan Love? Brock Purdy's in the
Everybody,
MVP
you have been
consideration.
hyping Jordan Love this whole show. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but it's because no one else will. You won't.
Of course.
Everybody isn't me. I'm the other guy.
Oh, trust me, there's plenty of people hyping Jordan. Greg Olson couldn't wait to friggin' anoint Jordan Love last week. Matthew Rowley says, I'm concerned about this game, and it's pissing me off how
Well, like people haven't compared Brock Purdy to Joe Montana endlessly.
I
Come on.
told those people to shut the hell up, too.
All right.
Uh,
I didn't compare him to Aaron Rodgers. I said I compared him to Brock Purdy. I think that's fair.
It's ticking Matthew Rowley off how confident Packers fans are right now. I hope we beat them by 50. See, I'm not alone. Beat them by 50. Why the hell not?
But he's concerned about the game.
I understand it's a playoff game. Everybody can be concerned. I'm not concerned. I'm sorry. I'm just not. And you can tell me that I should be. And trust me, if the Niners move on, I'll be concerned. But no, I'm not concerned about this game. I've seen the 49ers beat the Packers multiple times. I've seen the 49ers beat the Packers multiple ways, multiple times. And I haven't seen Jordan Love have more than one good game against the Cowboys, which who doesn't have a good game against the Cowboys?
Nothing says you're not concerned more than saying you're not concerned multiple times in a 45-minute stretch.
I'm doing a show.
I didn't ask you. You just keep saying, I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned. I just want to remind everyone, I am not concerned about this game. No, hold on. Still not concerned. I almost felt concerned for a second, but it wasn't concern. It was indigestion. I'm still not concerned.
Well, when people say
saying.
they're concerned, I'm responding to them. You see how that works?
Methinks thou doth protest too much.
Nope. Matt McEwen says Mahomes' first ever road playoff game, Bills for the win. That annoys me about Mahomes. He's been so good for so long. He's never played on the playoffs on the road in the playoffs. That's wild, man. That guy is so damn good.
I'm not concerned. Not concerned.
Am I not allowed to say? Should I not talk about?
I'm not concerned. It's Patrick Mahomes. I'm not concerned. I'm going to say I'm not concerned about Patrick.
Can I not talk about the game the rest of the week?
Hey, can I say what I'm concerned about and not concerned about, please? Your concerns are well documented, Rob. When do my concerns matter?
I don't have
When
it.
are my needs met?
Actually, you know what? Now I'm concerned about you.
Thanks.
Are you okay?
I've been better.
So that's it. I'm not concerned. 49ers are going to win. And everyone, can when Green Bay loses, they'll say, don't worry, Green Bay will be back. Green Bay's coming. Just like I heard about the Seahawks last year when the Seahawks lost. Everybody told me this year, the Seahawks in the West, and look at their great draft class. And where are the Seahawks? Sitting home. Just like we thought about the Eagles, right? Oh, the Eagles they're going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. Where are the Eagles? Sitting home, losing to the Bucs, getting blown out by the Bucs and Baker Mayfield. That's what they'll say about the Packers when they lose. It's fine.
This is an incredible psychological study of Rob. He has been talking to himself for half of this episode, trying to convince himself that there's nothing to worry about. And I don't think he's gotten there yet. In fact, I think he's more concerned now than he was when the show started. It's fascinating.
I don't know what I need to do to convince you, Graham. Matt says I'm not.
I don't know what you need to do to convince yourself. That's the real question. I'm enjoying this show so much, man. I'm really having a good time. You know why? Because the Packers are going to lose by 45, and that's not going to be any fun. So I have to get my yayas out now before it's official.
It would be a disaster if the 49ers lost, though.
Oh, I don't even want that, man. I want to cover a Super Bowl. I don't care if they win it or not, but if they do, that would be great for all of us. There'd be so many more Niner fans. All of our YouTube channels would grow.
Yes.
It would be phenomenal. It would be great. But if they don't, I'll find a way to keep keeping on like I always do.
It'd also be really great if the NFL would credential us, which
one day
right now.
One day you think the YouTube community will be recognized?
It's funny to me. Well, I guess that the league and the 49ers are two different entities. Like the 49ers recognize content creators and have gone out of their way to reach out to various content creators to have them like do shows on their little members only broadcast thing that they have. They at least acknowledge that community. The NFL, I feel like, is not quite there yet.
No. We'll get it eventually.
Chad says, this the reason the first seed sucks. Everyone forgot. That could be. I mean, the Niners haven't played a real game in a while, and maybe people are sleeping on them a little bit, but I'll still take the rest. I'll take the first. Like, how great was it sitting back watching everybody beat themselves to a pulp in the wild card round, and we just get to sit and watch?
I mean, you called them we.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was. I'm not with them. So what I did this weekend was I just chilled. I had a great weekend.
I will always call them we. I can't stand that people don't like that. I have been associated with the 49ers for longer than anybody that's currently a member of the team. And I will be associated with the 49ers long after they're done. So yeah, I say we.
You're associated with the 49ers? Sort of. Like, associated. That's an interesting word. Associated. I'm associated with, oxygen. I have an association with it. I've had an association with oxygen for 36 years. How about that?
I don't think I'm on the team, but yeah, I say we. Like I people that act like you can't say we, hilarious just because I'm not on the roster. The trainer
say it.
Roster.
You can say it, but I can smile when you do it. Like,
oh, I don't care. Smile all you want. But like, if you think you're shaming me by pointing out that I said we,
no,
no, I don't care.
No, I get a kick out of it. I think it's just adorable. Thank you. I love it.
Gameplan.exe. Thank you very much. We love the chat, the Twitch crew. Appreciate you. Everybody watch it on Twitch. Kev says, Grant, you're trolling Rob. I agree with that.
It's my favorite thing to do on a Wednesday morning. Rob gets worked up, and it's early in the morning. We're both fueled on. Well, he's on the East Coast. I don't know his excuses.
I'm in middle of the day form.
I usually calm down by 11 o'clock, but at 9 o'clock, I'm caffeined up. I'm ready to yell at the top of my lungs outside. Sorry.
Yeah, your neighbors must wonder what the hell's going on there.
What is going on?
Like and subscribe to both YouTube channels, the Gold Standard YouTube channel and Grant's YouTube channel. We here in the Gold Standard go live every single weekday. I'm actually going to be live with Paul McCaffrey, formerly of KMBR, tomorrow. Really looking forward to that. Haven't heard from Paulie Mack in a little bit, so hopefully you'll join us for that. That should be, I believe, 9:30 in the morning, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. So I know it's early, but hopefully we'll make it worth your while to get up, get a cup of coffee, and join us.
Are you wrapping up the show? Is it over? After
I'm
50 minutes?
That's right.
So wait, hold on. This show essentially was you to come on and to tell everyone why the Niners are going to win by a lot. End of story. Move on. That was the whole show.
Yes.
Hey, God love you. All right, there you go. You heard it from Rob. Niners winning by a lot. Nothing more to talk about, guys. Let's just pack it up. Thank you. Good luck, Green Bay.
Yeah, exactly. And no cheap shots. Don't forget that was part of the show too.
Oh yeah, that really, really worked up Rob. He hasn't been the same since he heard that. And he wanted to come on and let people know that Niners going to win by 50 points.
That's right.
Hey, and if they try that cheap shot on Purdy, it'll be 60 points. So watch out.
Hey, you never know. Mike McDaniel put up, what did he put up, 70 on the Broncos? We've seen this system score some points.
Let's see what happens if you try that humpy pumpy up around here.
Are you cutting a wrestling?
We don't play that. Huh?
Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, everybody. Have a good one.